This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Many Tasmanian mayors are still not convinced the state government's plan to take over Taswater is what's best for ratepayers. Peter Gutwin released more details on his proposal to councillors this morning, but some say his presentation wasn't comprehensive enough.
Tasmanian mayors again taking a stand, saying the local government minister needs to dish out more detail on his proposed Taswater takeover.
I didn't learn one thing today or form one question out of what the Treasurer had to say today. He gave us absolutely nothing that we hadn't heard before.
Peter Gutwin fronted the mayors behind closed doors after Legat kicked media out. The Treasurer later revealing he told mayors the government will fund their water and sewerage financial returns from 2018 to 2025 through the state budget, rather than through Taswater.
Ensuring that the business can put all of its necessary resources to fixing the infrastructure and keeping prices lower.
But Break a Day Mayor Mick Tucker believes that will only hurt other sectors.
Obviously, there's got to be money that is put aside that could be in health and education.
Mr Gutwin maintains the government will be able to fix the state's water and sewerage infrastructure in 5 years if the government takes over the enterprise. Some mayors still not convinced a takeover is what's best.
We need more financial modelling before we can make a decision as to whether what the minister was proposing is good for our community.
A real concern is that in the future we may have a weak, divided government. We require assurance on this that the basic future direction of Taswater is going to be in good hands.
The state government hopes to table its Taswater legislation in the upper house in September. Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
Gonski funding for Tasmania remains on a knife's edge tonight. Education Minister Jeremy Rockcliffe met with federal and state ministers today, hoping for solid answers on whether the $100 million will be secured for the state, but came away empty-handed.
It's a heavy load for Tasmania's Education Minister to carry.
Where we have some 56% of our preschool kids in those bottom two quintiles of disadvantage compared to some 34% nationally, needs-based Gonski principles and objective funding is so very important.
These rates of disadvantage were raised at the Education Council meeting of state and federal education ministers at Mona today, but the roundtable didn't provide any solid answers.
It is disappointing in many respects that we have not drawn a line under this funding. This has been, a third or fourth time we have discussed funding arrangements.
Under the Gillard government, the 6-year Gonski plan was rolled out nationally and implemented over the past 4 years. But the Turnbull government hasn't committed to the last 2. If not secured, Tasmania's education system could be over $100 million worse off.
Parents, principals, teachers are telling us that this funding is making a difference for their students in their schools.
Simon Birmingham insists that funding will be allocated, but it won't be under the current Gonski model.
Transition away from a hodgepodge of different funding deals towards a more consistent approach in the future. And each day we get a step closer to that, and today is another step closer.
The timelines are very important for us as a state government. We have a budget coming up at the end of May, and as a matter of urgency, we want these funding discussions to continue.
There's a COAG meeting in June which is said to provide more details, but until then, states will have to wait. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's elective surgery wait lists have remained at a record low, according to the state's health minister. Michael Ferguson says new figures show 5,800 people are waiting for surgery, down from almost 8,500 a year earlier.
We're far from complacent. We know there's still a lot more yet to do, but we're very pleased to release these figures today.
Meanwhile, Labor began its statewide health tour today. Stroke survivor Michelle Robinson telling the party she was sent home from hospital after being misdiagnosed with a migraine.
I ended up spending, 4 days in the emergency room after that, and in that 4 days, I probably, at most of the time, I felt like I was going to die, or I wasn't going to be able to communicate anymore, sorry.
Ms Robinson says the state's hospitals need more beds, more staff and more specialists, so no one goes through what she has. Tasmania's forestry and tourism industries have renewed an agreement in an effort to help see the sectors work together. The Tourism and Forestry Protocol Partnership launched today in Hobart. The partnership was first signed in 2002 and was triggered by debates surrounding old growth logging and its impact on tourism.
To use this as a vehicle to raise concerns, raise issues and ultimately where there are potential spots of examples of issues across the regions to actually use as a vehicle to actually have those issues represented in a constructive way.
But the Wilderness Society says it holds concerns that forestry and tourism can't go hand in hand, citing the Blue Derby and logging issues. A 41-year-old Beaconsfield man is out on bail tonight after he was today arrested and charged with a child sex offence. Police say the charge results from an investigation into a video that was posted on YouTube earlier this week. The content has since been taken down. The man is accused of communicating with intent to procure a person under 17 years to engage in an unlawful sexual act. He will appear in the Launceston Magistrates Court late next month. A workman is lucky to be alive after a large crane toppled over at a construction site in Trevallyn this morning. A builder was taken to the Launceston General Hospital following the incident and late this afternoon was in a stable condition. Southern Cross News understands that mechanical failure may have contributed to the rollover. WorkSafe Tasmania attended the scene and is conducting an investigation. The Tasmanian town of Derby is bracing for bumper crowds this weekend as it prepares to host round 2 of the Enduro World Series. 500 of the world's best mountain bike riders taking to the Blue Derby mountain trails for their final practice run today.
While the last of the registrations rolled in, most were happy to chill. This group of ladies starting the practice day arguably the right way.
This year we're trying something new where we have a day for women, where we just get them together, take them out on the trails, and we finished off with a high tea with champagne.
The town's pub also embracing something new to welcome 500 riders of 24 different nationalities. The long-term financial gain of hosting the World Series expected to be in the millions.
Get visitors out of this for years to come.
People were thinking these little mountains in Tasmania didn't have much to offer, which I think a lot of riders have been actually really surprised.
One such rider is current Enduro World Series leader Win Masters, the New Zealander taking out the opening round at Rotorua last month.
They've definitely chosen some good trails and some pretty technical stuff up there. It's going to be pretty good for the crowds and I think they'll enjoy it.
Those crowd numbers are estimated to peak at around 3,000.
All our cafes are full. The accommodation is pretty much full, although there's still room available if people want to look hard. But yeah, it's really humming.
Just to give you an indication of how busy things are going to get here over the next 2 days. Yesterday, these guys processed 300 pizza orders, and over the next 2, they're expecting to do 1,000 more. But as far as the hub's concerned, it's ready.
We've got staff from all over the country that have come in to help us.
The event will conclude with a free performance by Launceston band Luca Brasi on Sunday night. Jessie Gilmour, Southern Cross News.
A national campaign from Royal Lifesaving has been rolled out today, aiming to tackle the issue of male drowning deaths caused by drinking too much alcohol in and around the water. Don't Let Your Mates Drink and Drown is in response to research revealing more than 1,900 men have drowned in the last decade, 1 in 4 of those involving alcohol.
It's encouraging all men to look out for their mates, especially coming into the Easter camping and that sort of season. Just take care. We're not asking you not to have fun, we're just saying be responsible while you're doing it.
Tasmanians are also being urged to be cautious when on board a watercraft and always wear a life jacket. National Youth Week is in full swing at Tasmania's Alive in the Park, with hundreds of young people taking part in fun-filled activities. Skateboarding, graffiti, art and youth services all a major hit, but the event's more than just that.
I think youth getting their say and having something enjoyable, especially in the Glenorchy community, because there's not that many I guess it's not enough entertainment for young people. So having big events like this and having the schools supported to get here is really great.
It kind of proves that us students, or us youth, are capable of something, because a lot of people think that, you know, we're just dumb and pathetic.
The event was mostly organised by young people who hosted meetings after school. Now a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market and the dollar have recovered after coming under pressure following shock US missile strikes on Syria, which sparked a surge in world oil and gold prices. The ASX 200 index has risen by 6.2 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 75.21 US cents and 70.62 euro cents.
North Melbourne has arrived in Hobart ahead of its round 3 clash against GWS at Blunston Arena. Despite not being able to pull a win so far this season, the Roos are confident they've done enough this week to turn it around.
We've trained all week. We've looked at our stoppages, our forward play and our defence, and we just need to make sure we have a four-quarter effort. And if we do that, hopefully we get 4 points.
The game kicks off at 1:45 tomorrow afternoon. Drivers were treated to perfect conditions for day 1 of the Tyre Power Tasmania Super Sprint at Symmons Plains today. Defending V8 Supercars champion Shane van Gisbergen recorded the fastest time of the day, clocking 50.80 seconds in the second practice session. He was narrowly ahead of fellow New Zealander Fabian Coulthard. Supercars will have a third and final practice session tomorrow morning before qualifying and the afternoon's 120-kilometre opening race. The Launceston Tornadoes are full of confidence ahead of its Seabull clash against the newly formed Melbourne Tigers at home tomorrow night. Torns newcomer Lauren Nicholson says while the team is only young with a few late inclusions, the girls are coming together nicely.
We don't know much about the Melbourne team, but I mean, training this week's been really good, and we're going into it pretty confident and hopefully come out on the other side with a win.
They have a pretty good point guard, so we'll be getting after her, and hopefully we can get the ball inside against them.
The Tawns have had 1 win and 1 loss for the season, including a nail-biting 1-point victory against Frankston last weekend. Tip-off tomorrow night is 6:30 at Elfin Stadium. Clarence United and Olympia Warriors will meet in an eagerly anticipated contest tomorrow night at KG5. Despite a slow start to the season, the Warriors have found form, winning their past 3 and will prove tough opposition for United.
As a group, we're starting to find our feet on the park and at training, and we're enjoying each other's company, and that's what it's all about.
The game kicks off at 6:30. Former Test batsman Alex Doolan has taken out this year's Ricky Ponting medal following a stellar Sheffield Shield season. The 31-year-old from Launceston receiving the award from Ponting, a player he named as his inspiration as a junior cricketer.
It's Tasmanian cricket's Night of Nights. The Ricky Ponting medal a chance to recognise the state's best male and female cricketers across all forms of the game. Batsman George Bailey taking out the Shield Player of the Year, the record-breaking double century in Wollongong helping him claim the medal.
I think whenever you get to the end of the season, you'd like to be celebrating trophies and seeing the team success. And it's great to be recognising the Pura Cup win from many years ago, but still great, I think, to recognise the individuals that have won it. And
he was the hot favourite to win the top honour, but right-hand batsman Alex Doolan collected the most votes, winning the Ricky Ponting medal. A worthy winner, having the added duty of captaincy for much of the summer and continuing his form with the bat with close to 400 runs in the Sheffield Shield. Doolan was honoured by the top spot, but raring to get back to playing top-form cricket.
Oh, look, I think individual achievements are great, but first and foremost we want to get the team back to playing some really good cricket, and I feel as a senior player it's my responsibility to be one of those people that do that. So, it'll be a good night tonight, but it'll be back to work tomorrow.
Georgia Redmayne winning the Tasmania Raw Player of the Year and Female Young Player of the Year. She became the first player for Tasmania to hit a WMCL century this season. Another highlight, Ben McDermott taking out the Chairman's Award, but it was this emotional speech from retiree Xavier Doherty that stood out.
Looking around the room after the game, seeing the smiles, the beers flowing, that sense of satisfaction was easily the best thing about playing cricket.
This year's awards was the first time Ricky Ponting has made it to the night, the ceremony also marking 10 years since the historic Pura Cup win. Alexandra Sykes, Southern Cross News.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, an apology. Jo Palmer has never wanted to be or ever was a grid girl. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So I'm allowed back on air. Hobart today, 25 degrees, Launceston 24, Burnie 21 and Devonport 22 degrees. Grove the high today with 26, with temperatures between 4 and 8 above average. Campania, Friendly Beaches, Bushy Park, Strawn and the Islands all 25. Cressy and Fingal 24. St Helens 22, Wynyard 21 today. Lowhead 20 and Lyawini 15. There is a frontal band of cloud west of Tasmania, stretching through Western Australia. There is another stronger front to its southwest. Tropical cyclone Ernie is to the west of WA with no milk cart in sight, mostly cloud-free for the rest of the nation. Some patches of middle and high-level cloud across the state today. Tomorrow, the high-pressure system moves to the east as the front weakens on its approach to Tasmania. A stronger front will develop over the Southern Ocean during the day. Winds from a northerly-based direction at 15 to 20 knots may be reaching 25 to 30 knots over the south and southwest. Strong wind warning from Wineglass Bay to Southeast Cape, a small craft wind alert for the lakes. Into the weekend we go with that cold front moving through, a shower or two. Hobart 23, 22 for Medina, Oatlands 21. Launceston, showers developing, 23 degrees, get the slicks on at Simmons, 21 degrees for Devonport and Lyawini, a showery 16. For Burnie, showers and 21, 22 the top for Strawn, Marrawar showers and 21 degrees. St Helens, a late shower or two, 24 the top, 24 also for Swansea and Orford. On Sunday, showers again statewide with an early thunderstorm for the west. Morning showers over the east on Monday and later over the west. Mainly fine in the north on Tuesday, maybe a shower over the rest of the state. Sunny in Perth tomorrow along with Canberra. An afternoon shower or storm for Melbourne. Possible showers in Brisbane and Cairns, and Darwin has its usual. It's clear and 21 in Hobart. High cloud over Launceston 17, Devonport bit of cloud 2 and 15. Some smoke haze around as well. Tasmania Fire Service and Forestry Tasmania all through April doing the fuel reduction burns. But today some smoke was blown over from Victorian's fires as well. Jo, good news for you is though you won't have to put up with me until Monday.
Well, that is lovely news indeed. You're all your wife's problem. Thank you very much, Merv. That's all from the news team for now. We will see you with updates, of course, throughout the evening. Bye-bye.